Guys, both of you know, one of my favorite things to do is dunk on Dave Meltzer. It might be my favorite thing to do on this podcast. We're about to do it right now. Here's what this idiot did. Are you ready? Oh my God. So for those of you who have not been keeping up with what happened, Dave Meltzer last Friday, I think it was, on his Wrestling Observer radio live show, said that The Rock has told WWE that he is not working WrestleMania. He's not available. He's not working. Well, then shortly thereafter, someone, Jared, reaches out to The Rock on his Instagram and says, "Oh, are you really not working WrestleMania?" And Rock says, and there you see it on your screen, "Don't believe any of that BS." So, Jared, for The Rock to go out of his way to respond to this, come on, man. This is literal BS.
Yeah, The Rock apparently is going to be at WrestleMania. I mean, that's what it feels like. It's safe to say now. But I mean, what has happened to Meltzer? I mean, used to he was the reliable source. He was the gold standard. If it came from Meltzer, whether you loved him or hated him, most of the time it was going to happen. It was accurate.
Yep.
But man, the past year, what has he got right? Anything?
I mean, every now and then he'll get some things right, but didn't he report a couple of weeks ago that Alpha died before Alpha died? Isn't that right? He did.
I'm sure
he did that.
Maybe. I think so. Something like that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did something like that. Yeah, he's he's great in some roles. I mean, if you look at the Vince documentary, he actually like served a really good purpose in that documentary to bring up like actual historic facts about wrestling and this, that, and the other. I feel like the new generation of wrestling has completely passed him by.
Yes.
And so, it is what it is. If it doesn't come from like Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp, then I'm not really fully believing it. He's like the one person I like. He gets more right than he gets more wrong. So he's worth it. But yeah, I don't really care what some of these people say.
I care what Aaron Grisham has to say. Some people are saying radio gets the 5-star reviews if they record in the Tokyo Dome. Well, listen. Oh my gosh.
Not anymore. If you go to Atlanta, you get it.
Apparently in Atlanta, you can get 5 stars. You got to put us in hell in a cell. But my goodness, like I understand, Andy, great point that you made about the Vince documentary. Dave Meltzer is a great wrestling historian. There's no doubt. Historian, he knows his stuff. But stop reporting crap that you don't know anything about. Like The Rock is the one guy that you should not call out. Like, don't call this dude out. He is literally, you have to think, Jared, that he's going to go out of his way to make sure he's at WrestleMania. Even if he was on the fence before, it's like, well, I got to be there now. Jeez.
I hope so, man. I really want to see Rock at WrestleMania, and I mean, whether I end up being able to actually go or not, just having him at another WrestleMania is going to be awesome if we can get him there. So,
yeah, I completely agree. All right, what I want to do though, Andy, is I want to play devil's advocate for a minute. Let's just say The Rock is not going to be at WrestleMania. All right, let's just take him off the table. He's not going to be there. Even though when he tweeted the video of him coming out at Bad Blood, he clearly said 2025 on there. So let's just say that he's not going to be there for the sake of this podcast. If he's not, Andy, how do you book the main event picture of WrestleMania? What do you do if Rock is totally out? And Jared, start thinking. I'm coming to you next. What do you do if Rock is totally out?
If Rock is totally out, then I think one night main event is absolutely going to be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. I think that's like your safe backup. If everything else falls apart, that's the one that you can go to of Randy versus Cody, because the story just tells itself. And it's a story at this point now that is WrestleMania worthy, in my opinion. On the flip side of it, I don't think, especially with the Bloodline storyline, I don't think you can have Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and not have him main event a night. So if you're giving me the pencil and I get to tell this story however I want to tell it, and you're probably going to call me a mark, Chris, and that's totally fine. I'm booking Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu in the main event of WrestleMania. Like that, to me, make it Bloodline rules and have everything go crazy and everybody come out and do whatever you want to do. But those two guys barely have touched each other, and every time they're in the ring together, the place just explodes every single time. So it's a simple story to tell to get them there in the main event, I think.
I'm not calling you. I might only call you a mark because you're putting it in the main event. But let me just say this. There's a reason they're not touching. Yeah. And it is in my notes that that's a possibility for WrestleMania if there's no Rock. So I'm with you there. Like I could totally see that happening. Jared, I'll go to you next. If Rock's out of the question, what are you doing?
So I had exactly what Andy just said in my mind, except that, I mean, this is just, I mean, we're fantasy booking here. So that's what you have night one. Okay.
Lord.
You have Cody against Randy, and then you have Jacob against Roman. The winners face in the main event on night two, and it becomes Cody versus Roman again. This time, Roman wins, gets his belt back. Then maybe you can build to Roman and Rock at the next WrestleMania.
I was about to say that I'm shocked that neither of you say Cody versus Roman 3. Because that was the first thing that I wrote down. I was like, well, this is easy. Like it's Cody. It has to be Cody Roman 3. Andy, where does, if Rock's not there, and let's say it's not Roman and Jacob yet. Let's say we do Roman versus Solo, Bloodline rules. Oh, here's an interesting comment from Jason Hines. Cody turns heel after he loses to Roman.
See, I would do that, but I would not have him lose and have Paul Heyman be aligned with Cody going after.
So, well, okay, you say that, Jared, but think about it. If you flesh out this idea, if Cody aligns himself with Paul Heyman and he beats Roman, do we not build to Cody versus Roman 4, 5, 6? And you keep
We're only in the third inning.
We're only in the third inning, as they like to say.
I mean, yeah, that is the big match, and I think it's going to be for a while. I think it's going to stay the big match. Kind of like, I don't know, I mean, ones in the past, like Cena and Orton, or like Cena and Brock Lesnar. Those type of things where you just kept getting Roman and Brock, of course. You keep getting this same match over and over. With Roman and Brock, though, it got to a point that, well, we were there, Chris. We were sick of it. We didn't want to see it. But with these two, they're not to the point yet that everybody's like, no, not again. We're all three sitting there saying we want it again. I mean, we're excited about it. I just hope that they don't push it to the point that it's like Cody and Roman 18. I mean, this is a bit much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. No
then we
doubt.
got to have 19 to break the tie. I mean, we can't allow that to happen.
Well, listen, most people are saying that this feud, Cody versus Roman, is this generation's Rock Austin. And we've talked all the time about how Rock Austin traded the titles back and forth, and they had X number of matches. They only had 3 WrestleMania matches, but they wrestled on other pay-per-views too. And of course, their Monday Night Raw stuff for the Intercontinental title before they got to the WrestleMania main events and all that kind of stuff. So we got a long way to go in this Cody Roman feud. But all that to say, guys, I think it's safe to say that Rock's going to be at WrestleMania. I think that, Jared, if they're really booking this as far out as they say that they booked it, Rock's already put this date on his calendar a long time ago. Rock's going to be there. If it's going to be, as Triple H says, as special as it should be or as it could be. So having said that, Andy and I talked about this, I think last week or maybe the week before. But Jared, the consensus online seems to be that we are headed towards a Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Rock triple threat match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Would you go that route, or would you separate it? Would you have Cody and Rock for the belt, or would you separate it even further and have Roman and Rock one-on-one, and then you get your Cody and Randy at WrestleMania? Which of those three routes would you prefer?
Man, I really want to see Rock and Cody. So I would have Rock and Cody probably as the main event of night 2 WrestleMania. And then night 1, you could do Roman against Jacob Fatu against Randy Orton in a triangle match or something crazy. I don't care. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with Roman. But as we were talking about, what if The Rock isn't going to be here for the next WrestleMania? My mind was already working, and I was like, this will parlay so nicely, though. If he is there, we keep Cody and Roman apart for this WrestleMania. We do whatever we want to do with The Rock, whatever else we want to do that's cool with Roman, and then we push it to at least the next WrestleMania before we come back to Roman versus Cody. And you take the temperature of the fans again and see if you want to keep doing it, another series of 3 matches after WrestleMania, or if you just want to do it one more time and kill it for a while. But I think the thing to do is definitely to keep them apart at this coming WrestleMania.
Okay. Is it possible to do Rock Cody at the Royal Rumble, and then you do Cody Roman or Rock Roman at WrestleMania? Andy, let's say that happens. Let's say, I know that you hate this, but I cannot get this idea out of my brain that The Rock is going to beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I can't get the idea out of my brain. I just feel like it's going to happen.
It's happening.
So if it happens at the Royal Rumble, and then you get the main event we're supposed to get for 40, you get 41, Rock's bringing the belt in, he drops it to Roman. Let's say that happens. Andy, what do you do with Cody Rhodes? Do you still do the Randy Orton match? Does it mean as much without the title? Do you have him chase Gunther? What do we do here?
I really have no idea what you do with Cody. Because I feel like Cody Randy, especially with how they've been building it on TV, the title needs to be on the line.
Agreed.
So I feel like if you take the title away from Cody, then that feud can kind of wait a little bit, or they can try to figure out a different story or something like that. I don't really know if that ends up happening. I would love it if Cody was not even on WrestleMania. And post match of whatever that main event looks like of Roman and Rock, then have maybe Cody turn heel the night after, or have him come out and try to challenge Roman, and then down the line he turns heel or something like that. I feel like if Cody loses to The Rock, though, it's going to slowly start to make that heel turn. But it's just giving me flashbacks of 2012, and it's not a good flashback of seeing Rock come in and just take the title from the guy that's been working his butt off to get to the top, and then just nothing really happens after that. Honestly, the scenario I see is Rock Cody happening at Rumble, and then maybe like before the match before is the actual Rumble match, and Roman wins it. And then he comes in at the end of the match, spears both Roman and Cody, or Rock and Cody, and that sets up that triple threat match at WrestleMania. To me, that's the simplest, easiest way to do this. But I don't know, I don't know if they want to do what direction they're going in. It makes me real nervous to put the title on The Rock.
And see, I think Andy is most likely exactly right, and I think the reason for that is because that The Rock is not, exactly a spring chicken anymore. And I don't know how much time he has left. Yeah. And so, I mean, my idea, if Rock was 36, 37, a younger man, I think would probably be what they would go for.
Sure.
But given the age of The Rock, and he is still making tons of movies, probably doesn't want to keep having wrestling in his book. Maybe he does. I don't know. But, I mean, I wouldn't think more than another year or two of Rock, and he's probably done whether he wants to be or not.
Yep.
So, I mean, but I would love it. I would love it if he would stick around for 5 more years at least, but I don't know, man.
All right. Aaron Grisham is blowing up our comments, and I have to put this on the screen. He says, inject the MJF WWE pop into my veins. He says that MJF should show up Night 2. Jason Hines agrees. MJF's music hits whoever. I mean, like, really? He got the AEW tattoo and everything, Andy, and he's really going to show up?
Rick Pitino got the Louisville tattoo and showed up in Rupp. What are you talking about?
Well, listen, that's true.
It looked like
all I'm
death.
saying, he did look like death.
Look bad.
I will say this. If we end WrestleMania Night 2 with Cody in the ring and that music drops, I will lose my mind. Because
so will everybody else.
It's not supposed to happen. It's
but
not.
Do you think? I know Andy's probably going to kill me for this, but do you think enough people in the WWE crowd actually know and love MJF enough that it would blow the roof off the building? In all seriousness,
Yeah, I think a WrestleMania crowd absolutely would.
Yep,
okay.
me too.
I think
that's.
I
don't
especially
know.
he's getting a role in Happy Gilmore 2. He's got a couple other movie roles coming up, so he's getting his name out there without AEW being attached to it, which is not necessarily a bad thing either way. But I feel like especially if you do it in the right spot, I think people are going to know who he is. I mean, if you do it in Long Island, if you do it, in Chicago, the place will go nuts when his music hits.
Well, I mean, are we talking about Vegas at that WrestleMania? Is that what we're saying? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think, Jared, I think it'll be okay. I think what the challenge in front of WWE will be to put in the work afterwards to spread the name of MJF in the WWE I can't even say it, WWE sphere. I think Andy's absolutely right. I think a WrestleMania crowd is a great place to do it. The Royal Rumble would be the exact same way, but any other event, I would question it, but those two, I think it's, yes, you could absolutely do it at either of those, and I think it would work.
Yeah,
okay.
and you look how they brought in Jade Cargill. They didn't, as soon as they kind of brought her in, the place, everybody knew who she was, and the fans were open to her and everything else. So I think he's got more. If this was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, then absolutely, I don't think he would get the reaction. But I think he's got enough time in him now where people know who he is, and he's made so much noise on internet and everything else that I think people will recognize him.
So I'm going to be devil's advocate here because I really don't know. Only thing I've really watched and kept up with is WWE for a while now. But is there a possibility of MJF coming in anytime soon to the WWE? Pronouns, pal. And if he does, would this not probably be like the best time for him when they're going toward a more adult oriented? Because I had always wondered if MJF came over, my God, he would be handcuffed like no other under the old regime. I just don't think his character could have worked. But now, I think it has a pretty good chance based on what you all are telling me.
Yeah, I don't think it would happen soon though, because I think he just signed an extension with them for, I want to say 4 years, maybe.
Ooh, that's a big extension.
I have no idea what the number was, but I know it was sometime in 2024. So we're still multiple years away from it happening.
Yeah. But I agree. Like if he'd have came in like a couple years ago, then he'd have been no different than the Miz, and nobody wants to see MJF as the Miz. But bringing him in now, like if he brought him in now, I think he would flourish in this system very well.
We appreciate you guys being tuned in, whether you're tuned in live or you're watching the replay. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, what in the world are you waiting for? As you can tell, we're having so much fun on this show. We want you to be part of the fun. So subscribe to the channel. That way you get a notification each and every time we drop a new episode and each and every time we go live, which is every Monday after Raw. Like the video, it helps the algorithm. If you don't care, drop a comment in as well. That helps the algorithm too, the interaction, all the things. We would appreciate that so much.